Hi, how are you doing? Welcome to today's lesson. What we're looking at today is scale drawing. Okay, so scale drawing. Now, very straightforward. What scale drawing is it's drawing a representation, an accurate representation of something that's too big on a smaller scale. So, for example, a plan of your room. If you're drawing a plan of your room, there's a picture on there which we drew together, the kids and I, of the plan of our classroom, the whiteboard, the windows, the door. Very straightforward. We measured the distances and all that. Okay, and we used 1 centimeter equals 1 meter. Very straightforward. So if I measure a centimeter on the map, it's a meter in real life. That's all it is. Okay. Now that is 1-to-1. Those are very easy to convert, very easy to understand. The trick comes in when we're talking about scale drawings without units and working within the units. Okay, so scale drawing, I'm going to add on to this no units. Now there's a couple of ways that they can ask you this. They can ask you this, firstly giving you an incorrect scale and saying convert it to a correct scale, okay, and that's what we're going to do. And then they can ask you about measurements. What's a measurement on the drawing, what's a measurement on real life. Okay, so let's take a look at the first example, e.g. And they say, the scale for this map is, for every 2 centimeters, it represents 1 kilometer. So 2 centimeters to 1 kilometer, right? And they say, work out the scale of this map. Now, when they say this, they mean the scale without the units, okay? So in order to work out the scale without the units, we usually go to the smallest unit. We convert everything to the smallest unit, okay? Well, let's convert a kilometer to centimeters, all right? I'm going to use my method of conversion. So 1 kilometer, and I'm going to convert it first via meters. Okay. So if I'm going to a meter, kilometer to a meter, this helps if you've seen unit conversions first, metric conversion. Kilometer to meter, the units are going down, so that means that the number part must be going up. All right. How do I change something from kilo to meter? Is 1,000 kilometers. 1,000. How do I change it? You make it bigger using 1,000 at times. So 1 times 1,000 is 1,000. Right. So that's kilometers to meters. Now meters to centimeters. So if I'm going from meters and I want to change it to centimeters, all right, the unit part is going down, so that must mean that the number part must be going up. You with me still? Okay. How do I go from meters to centi? Centi means 100. So to make something bigger, using 100, I times. So 1,000 times 100 is 100,000. So 1 kilometer is 100,000 centimeters. Okay, if I went a little bit too fast for you, go watch the video on metric conversions. Okay, this is my trick of how to do it. All right. Well, not specifically mine. I'm not taking ownership of it for any maths teachers out there. I'm just saying I like doing it this way. Okay. So, well, what does this mean? Let's rewrite this in terms of centimeters. So if I've got 2 centimeters is to 1 kilometer, well, I don't like different units. So let's use this. 2 centimeters is to 100,000 centimeters. Now they're in the same units. Well, if they're in the same units, why bother to write the units? 2 is to 100,000. Okay. Right. We're almost done. All we need now to do is to simplify the ratio. So if I simplify the ratio, this is even, that's even. 2 goes into 2 once. 2 goes into 100,000, 50,000 times. So the final scale of 2 centimeters to 1 kilometer is 50,000. Now it looks long-winded, but the ideas aren't actually that difficult. All I do is change everything to the smallest unit. If it's millimeters, if it's meters, if it's centimeters, who cares? Change it to the smallest unit, rewrite it as smallest units together, simplify the fraction. Done. That's it. Alrighty. There are other ways of doing it. Okay, there are ways of using a multiplier, but I think that this is the most straightforward out of all the ways I've seen. If your teacher disagrees with me, no worries. Okay, listen to what they say. Alright. So, let's try another way. Right, let's try another question. If the drawing had a scale of 1 is to 50,000, right? So 1 is to 5,000, so e.g. 2. So if a drawing's got a scale of 1 is to 5,000, 5,000, 1, 2, 3, okay? How long in real life would a 2 centimeter corridor be? So 2 centimeters on the map. Now, this is what I always like to picture before I go into this. What is this? This is the drawing is to real life. That's what it is. 1 centimeter on the drawing is 5,000 centimeters on the map. 1 meter on the drawing is 5,000 meters on the map. 1 kilometer on the drawing is 5,000 kilometers on the map. Okay? Okay, same units. Remember, scale factor, same units. All right, always. Whatever the units you want, doesn't make a difference. Okay, so if they say now 1:500, let's put it into centimeters because that's what they tell me, right? So 1:500. So 1 centimeter is to 5,000 centimeters. Okay. Now I'm going to show you. It's not really such a nice way of drawing it, but it's useful to understand. Right. If I want to change this now to 2 centimeters on the map, on the drawing, well, 2 centimeters on the drawing is to what? How many centimeters in real life? Okay, well, right. What I do to 1 to make it 2, I times it by 2. So what must I do on this side to convert that as well? I have to times it by 2. So this now is 5,000 times by 2 is 10,000 centimeters. Are you with me? Okay. But hang on a second, 10,000 centimeters. No, you never measure something 10,000 centimeters long. Alright? Oh, I've done 1:5,000, but then the actual question is 1:500. No worries. Let's pretend it's 1:5,000. It's okay. Okay. Slightly different from the question. You see, this is what's exciting. You can always change it slightly. Okay, so 10,000 centimeters. Let's fix that. Let's fix this into meters or maybe even kilometers. So let's see, when does it start to look good? 10,000 centimeters, and I want to fix this to meters. Alright? Well, centimeters to meters, the units are going up, the measurement's going up, so the units must be going down. Centi means 100. So what I do to make something smaller using 100, I divide 10,000 divided by 100, drop 2 zeros, gives me 100 meters. That's absolutely fine to measure it as. So this real life measurement of the corridor would be 100 meters long. You're with me? Okay, fantastic. That's it. Alright. So, the next part of the question is now going from real life to the drawing. Okay, so let's actually just do it on the side here. I'm going to squish things up instead of having to jump up to the other page. Now, on my picture, right? On my picture, on the question, I was using 1:500. Okay, let's stick with 1:5,000. Slightly different from the question. Okay, just to show you that the working idea is exactly the same. So I've got real life drawings. So 1:5,000. 1:5,000. And they say that now my road in real life is 40 meters long. All right. So my road in real life is 40 meters long. Okay. Now, 40 meters, I don't need meters, I need centimeters because I want to change it all to centimeters. Right? So let's first change this to centimeters. Centimeters. Well, the units are going down, so the number part must be going up. Meters to centi means times by 1,000. Sorry, 100. Centi is 100. 40 times 100 is 40,1,2. Right? So I've got 4,000. Right. So, here's the question. It's going to be slightly tricky because I've changed that fraction slightly. Alright, so I can say, okay, I want to change from there to there, so I wanted 4,000 centimeters, right? How do I change 5,000 to 4,000, right? How do I change 5,000 to 4,000? Well, in order to change 5,000 to 4,000, I can divide by 5 times by 4. You with me? I can divide 5,000 by 5 to get 1,000, times it by 4 to get 4,000. So I can divide by 5 times by 4. 5 over 4. Okay, still with me? Right. So that's the move that I can do. So I have to do the same here, times by 4/5. 1 times 4/5 is 4/5. 4/5, what is 4/5? That's not nice as a measurement. If I write this as decimal, 0.8 is to 4,000. Everyone with me? How did that conversion? Okay. To make this into a decimal, I double that. It's 8 over 10, 0.8. Okay, so how long is this thing on the map? On the map, it's 0.8 centimeters, or nicer, 8 millimeters. Alright, that conversion is a pretty piece of cake, you should be okay with that. So on the map, this measurement is 8 millimeters. Alright, different from my question, because I've used a slightly different scale. Alright, in the map I use 1:500, in the question I use 1:500, on the board I use 1:5,000. Okay, so it's going to be slightly different. Everyone with me? Okie dokie. That's all it is. I know this looks messy, and I've done it in a different way on the notes. But this, I think, is the easiest way to understand it. How do I change this ratio into that ratio? What I do to one side, I have to do to the other side, simplify stuff. What I do to one side, I have to do to the other side, simplify stuff. Okay? Always work with your smallest units, in my opinion. You can work with the other units, it's absolutely fine, but you've got to get comfortable with this. I find that some people really struggle with this, but you've got to go practice this. Okay, come and watch this again, try out some yourself, read through the note that I didn't do 100% exactly on here. Doesn't make a difference. It's all the same working. Okay, remember, I'm here for you.